Hey guys, welcome to Cigar Church, where our passion for cigars and our love for Jesus come together. We've got a special episode for you this evening. What we have decided to do a few times a month, it may be more than that, but we're going to record our cut and light that we do here at Cigar Church Lounge. So on Monday nights, we get together, and for those who have a VIP membership, they get a curated package of cigars every month that if it's a 4-week month, they get 4 cigars. If it's a 5-week month, they get 5 cigars. And those cigars, we give them in a pack that's got a little description about them, and we smoke those. We cut and light them together once a week on Monday night. And so that's what we're doing here this evening. You can see our lockers behind us. We're just sitting in the lounge, and we've got a special guest with us, our good friend Mark, who is a member here at Cigar Church Lounge. Good friends with some of the guys you've seen, Alan Cook and Dwayne Poore and all those that we've interviewed before. We all kind of just hang out together.
Yeah.
And good group of guys. And so Mark is on here tonight. You know what? We'll talk about that here in a second, why we got you on. Let's talk about the cigars, guys. What are we smoking tonight, Steve?
We're smoking the Jaime Garcia, Reserva, Especial, Connecticut Shade, Wrapper, and Nicaraguan binders and fillers.
Yeah. So this is the new Ami or Jaime or
he said Jaime.
Yeah. I know it's not Jaime Garcia. I think it's Jaime Garcia. The new Connecticut that they just released. You know, Connecticut's usually get a pretty bad rap, guys. They're usually pretty light.
I don't know.
Some brands seem real cardboard-like when you smoke them.
You get the right ones, pretty creamy.
You get the right ones, and they are damn good, right? I don't know if we can say that on this channel, but I'm going to. We just did. So we're going to go ahead and light these up and tell you a little bit about them as we're lighting them and just kind of get that first profile. Mark?
You lighter?
Appearance-wise, that's a flawless wrapper. For sure.
Have you had one of these, Mark, yet?
Not this, not the Connecticut wrapper.
Now this has become one of my favorite cigars. Everybody knows I'm a big My Father's fan, which is who produces the Jaime Garcia or Jaime Garcia cigars. And I've fallen in love with this cigar. Normally I don't smoke light cigars, but for Connecticut, I wouldn't call this a light cigar. What are you guys getting just on that first draw?
I mean, you can definitely taste the Connecticut wrapper, I mean, for sure. And I smell it, I can taste the Nicaraguan. So it's there.
Yeah, well, you know Nicaraguan. That's your favorite.
I love Nicaraguan.
So yeah. How about you guys?
Really easy. There's on the retro hill. I mean, I know not everybody does that, but on the retro hill, there's just
on the right side.
I was about to say we draw a line right down the middle of the table, and you guys retro hill, and we don't. So
there's not an overwhelming amount of spice on the back of the nose, so it's doable. If somebody would want to learn to do that or be able to start doing that, I mean, this might be a good cigar to start doing that with, as opposed to an Opus or something super spicy and strong.
Yeah.
So.
A big Maduro, that'd be good. One thing that I love about the cigars, you do start to pick up on spices right away.
There's a little bit of spices.
Which is not common with a Connecticut wrapper cigar. With my experience with them previously, I actually smoked one yesterday. After about that first third, you really start picking up on those black pepper spices. And so love to see if you guys pick up on that as well. Steve, what do you think, man?
Almost kind of almond.
Got a little almond nutty type?
I like it.
Yeah. Very good. If you've smoked one of these before, let us know in the comments below.
It kind of stands out compared to other Connecticut's. It's a little
really
different.
It does. And at the lounge, oftentimes we get guys that are like, I don't like lighter cigars, but they'll smoke these, and we like to put them onto them. And I mean, it's just a delicious to me.
Enough
very
spice
delicious
just
cigar.
to keep them interested in it.
Yeah, it fits well in the My Father portfolio as well. Because if you know much about My Father's, they don't have a lot of lighter cigars. Now they've got the El Centurion, which a good friend of ours really likes to smoke, smokes it way too much. And they've got a couple other just Connecticut's in the My Father's lineup, but I think this is the first one in the Jaime Garcia line. But yeah,
a lot of these Jaime Garcias you can't go wrong with. Their blue label, I mean their regular one is just an old school standard classic that it's not quite to the Padron level where you can compare and kind of like that. This is a standard, but it's close.
Yeah, yeah. That Vegas Cubanus, the green label one, and the Petit Corona is one of my regular morning coffee cigars, and it's got a little bit of kick to it. It's a good first cigar in the morning.
What's the price point on it? You know?
For the Robusto, just under $10. The Toro is like 11, I think. Here, I was talking to somebody at the lounge the other day about this. This is what I love about the My Father's lineup. It is just every bit as good as Fuente or any of the other big houses. And they have gone up on their prices a little bit lately, but they've gone up less than anybody else. And you can generally find a smokable, really good cigar in the $8.50 to $12.50 range with them, and know it's going to be a good cigar.
Mm-hmm. You put these up in a blind taste test against a lot of the big name brands, and people will be really surprised.
Yeah, I think so.
Alan and I just talked about that last night.
Yeah,
so.
Very cool, very cool. So yeah,
I wonder if you're blindfolded, would you pick up that it's Connecticut or not?
See, that's a good question. That's a really good question because it doesn't smoke like a Connecticut.
It doesn't, but to me,
There's a little hint of it, but it's very slight.
But to me, every Connecticut I've ever had has that. I feel like there's just that little bit of an undertone of that Connecticut wrapper in there. And so, I mean, that was the first thing that hit me was,
Right.
oh, this is a
Right.
Connecticut. I mean, it would be interesting to do a blind. We ought to do that on an episode. That was actually a lot of fun.
A literal blind one, because you see it and you know it's a Connecticut.
Right,
Like
yeah, you
blindfold somebody
Yeah.
and bring them in. I got an idea
Should
who
have
we could do that
blindfolded him
with.
today.
I didn't know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Would have worked well.
You know, that would actually be really funny with someone like Dwayne, that has such a developed palate.
I wouldn't chance it on Scotch, but you might get him on a.
You might, yeah,
serious cigar,
exactly.
maybe.
Scotch, he's going to know it immediately. He'll tell you exactly what bottle it was bottled. Like, you know, this is the 15th bottle out of. You know, that's just how he is.
I'll probably tell you the original owner and now the grandson that he's best friends with.
Yeah,
at that
and
distillery.
tell you a great story about when he was in Scotland, right?
That's right.
If you don't know who Dwayne is, we filmed a couple episodes. I think it was at the end of season 1. I
think so, yeah.
And then a little bit into season 2, we had another one on his back deck. Amazing episodes. Go check those out. But this is a really good cigar, and I'm excited about our members being able to smoke it with us and partake in this Jaime Garcia Connecticut. Anything else you want to say about the cigars before we jump into the study tonight? I know we'll be able to talk about them a little bit more afterward, but.
Yeah, I want to get into it a little bit.
I do too. Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, our study tonight, probably best if I didn't talk with my mouth full. One of the reasons we wanted Mark on the show this evening is because he's a police officer. He's in law enforcement. You've been in law enforcement how long?
About 23 and a half years now.
Jeez, are you that old? Man, and retirement's coming up pretty soon for you.
It is for me, yes.
Yeah, that's exciting. And so Mark is a good friend of ours. He's done so much for the lounge and when Mark's your friend, he's just one of those friends that you know you can count on and depend on. And so we wanted to bring him on here, talk a little bit about that law enforcement background and some of the challenges that are going on right now in all of our communities, even here in Oklahoma City for the law enforcement. But I want to jump into some text right off the bat that, believe it or not, I believe in Scripture talk about law enforcement and talk about police officers. Now, it doesn't use that term because that's a term that we've invented in the last 100, 150 years or whatever. But there's a couple passages that I think directly reference what you do. So let's look at those passages and then we'll just kind of talk into some of the things that's going on in our community. So the first one I want to look at, we're going to look at 2 tonight, but the first one I want to look at is Romans 13, starting in verse 3 and going into verse 4. It says this: For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval. For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who comes out of God's wrath on the wrongdoer. So now there's a couple of things going on in this text. Number one, it is separating the idea of doing good and doing bad. And really, when it gets down to it, that's what your profession exists for, right?
Correct.
And this is where I struggle in our communities now. There's a lot of stuff that's being said about police officers and about the profession, and a few years back, the defund the police and all this kind of thing. And we don't get real political on this channel, but here's a problem. If you are doing good, you have nothing to fear, according to this text. But if you're doing bad, then you do have something to fear. But here's what's very interesting to me about this text. It says, "For he is God's servant for your good." Here's what I want to talk about. I don't know about you guys, but I was a little bit of a troublemaker when I was a kid. And I had a few run-ins with the law as a kid. Not all of them do my parents know about, so we're not going to go on record talking about them right now. And yes, I am 49 years old, and I'm still terrified of my parents knowing about a lot of stuff that I did as a kid. But I had this, I got pulled over so many times. I've probably had more speeding tickets than I'd like to admit. But I got pulled over one time coming home after curfew, late from my girlfriend, going out with my girlfriend. And it was my senior year in high school. And I was in a really good mood. And so I didn't give the officer attitude when I got pulled over like I normally would. And you know how this goes, right? And when he pulled me over, I was just in a good mood and I showed him respect. I was doing like 15 over and he didn't give me a ticket. And he was really respectful with me, and we had a great conversation, and asked me why I was out so late and all that kind of stuff. And that was in 1995, and here it is 30 years later, and I still remember that moment real specifically because it was a change of the way I thought about police officers. Mm-hmm. And I think so often we look at officers and we think, oh, they're the enemy, or they're out to get me, or they're this or that or whatever. And the truth is, if we do good, we have absolutely nothing to fear. Mm-hmm. And I learned a really big lesson that night is not only what I do behind the wheel or, breaking the law or whatever is going to dictate the way that officer responds to me, but the respect that I show as well dictates the way that officer is going to respond to us. And so I think there's, whether you believe in Scripture or not, whether you've given your life to Christ or not, I think there's this really neat principle right here in this text that whether you like cops or not, whether you think that there's something going on or worry about corruption or this or that or the other, if you do good, there's nothing to worry about. But if you do bad, then of course you have something to worry about, right?
Right.
And Scripture says you're here for our good. So what are your thoughts, gentlemen? Got you quiet. Did you get pulled over today on the way over here?
No, I did not. I'm actually not a speeder. I was in my youth a little bit.
I think a lot of us were. I'm too old for it now, right?
It's kind of funny now because I think about it when I'm on trips and stuff like that because I set the cruise control and just let it ride. And it's funny to see the guys who are always braking. You see the guy, he blows your doors off, and then suddenly, there's an officer up here on the road, and you see everybody slow down. And I'm just, and a lot of times I'm passing them because they'll slow way down, and now I'm passing them, and it's just like it's just kind of funny. But so I do think that there's a time where you realize they're out there to make sure that society works the way that society should work. They're making things more peaceful, and because if you guys weren't out there,
Anarchy.
I mean it really would be.
It's crazy. A society without laws really isn't much of a society at all.
Right.
I mean, we can't go back to the Wild West days to where it's if you disagree with somebody, well, then it's a gunfight out in front of the saloon. I mean,
there's a couple times I really wish we could do that.
So it's just, one thing that's, you can't judge the officer by the uniform that they wear. Every officer is an individual, and we're all people, and everybody has good days and bad days. But it's just one contact with an officer that might not have been as positive as you would have liked for it to go doesn't mean that the next officer is going to, it's going to be that same way. So but like I said, we're all people. It's hard to distinguish between, and with the negative coverage in the news media and certain channels and everything that just want to paint this negative picture to fit their narrative. That's not real life. I mean, that's just stuff that they're putting on TV to get people to watch and get your attention. So it's just, you've got individuals out there that are obviously there for good, but then it takes one bad apple to spoil everything. And so we've had our fair share of
Yeah.
those around the city, but they get weeded out.
Yeah.
You see that they get what's coming to them. I
Yeah.
mean, we got to be held accountable for our choices, for the decisions we make. Whether it's just doing, I mean, you're in a hurry. We're all in a hurry sometimes, but if you get pulled over doing 20 over on the highway, I mean, you made that choice,
Right.
and you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're expected to be held accountable
Yeah.
for your decisions, and so how does that make the officer the bad guy
Right.
when they're responding to what you're doing? So
Right.
that's
Yeah, you brought up two things there that I think are really important for us to at least admit to. Number one, the Wild West comment. A society needs laws to keep people in line. Even good people need laws to stay in line, right?
Yeah.
And it's like raising kids. All of us in this room have kids, and we know that you just have to set rules in the household. This is acceptable behavior, and this isn't. And if you don't have any teeth behind that, if you just have the rules and they break the rules and it's like, it's okay, and then they break the rules, it's okay, then the rules don't mean anything. And so whether it's a speed limit or a more serious rule, like don't break into your neighbor's house, those kind of things, they have to be enforced for them to matter. You can have all the rules on the books, and if they're not enforced, it doesn't matter. And so that's one part of it. But the other part that you said that I think is valuable is that you can't just look at all cops as one thing, because there are good and bad. I've got a good friend, I'm not going to mention the department or his name, down in Texas, but he's the assistant police chief in his department, and his main job is hiring the new officers. And he said that's the hardest thing for him is weeding through those guys that, you want to think that everybody who goes into law enforcement is going in for the right reasons, but there's no profession that everybody's going into it for the right reasons, right? Whether it's a pastor or a teacher or a truck driver or law enforcement or fire, it doesn't matter. There's going to be people that try and go into those fields, and sometimes it's impossible to weed them out until they show their behavior, and that's unfortunate. And oftentimes the bad ones are the ones who make the news.
The headlines.
When an officer does their job right, you're not going to make the news. We
that doesn't make the news.
It doesn't. I mean, no, not at all. It should, but how do you do that? And when you have a teacher that does something horrible, they're going to make the news. Well, is it all teachers who do those things? When you have a pastor do something horrible, embezzlement or whatever, do all pastors do that? No, but the bad one makes the news, and so everybody sees that, and that's especially tough on you guys. But
one of the things that has happened in the last few years, you have the program Live PD, now it's on Patrol Live. Where
that's one of your favorite shows too.
It actually
you are
is.
always talking about
I
that
love
show.
that show,
Yeah.
but I like it because it's showing the nitty gritty. It's showing what you guys do every day, and a lot of times it's not exciting. Sometimes it is very exciting.
Yeah.
And you see that, and I think you get a better understanding. Because what those shows do is show you the personal side. You see these guys cutting up with each other. You see these guys talking. You see these guys letting people go with a warning because they had great
Sometimes they're
attitudes.
counselors.
And one of the most beautiful ones I saw, and I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. This was a couple years ago. Was an officer, I believe it was in South Carolina. There was a kid on the side of a bridge, and he was getting ready to throw himself off, and he talked to him, spent a good 20 minutes, and of course, they're staying on this guy, and he's able to grab the kid off and pull him down to the ledge. But then instead of, suddenly getting gruff, he sat him down, and talked to him until his parents arrived, and they talked, and then got him help. And, it's that kind of thing that a lot of people don't think about, because it's the other side of that, because everybody watches the police shows and and it's all shootouts and high-speed chases and everything else, and it's like you don't see the heart side, the human side of it all.
And that's got to be hard because I know we've had conversations just privately about things that happen on the job and similarities between counseling with people in the church, and I mean it's hard not to go home and take that emotion with you.
It is, and I'm lucky to have had my initial field training officer, Marty, that instilled that in me. He was like, "You cannot this job will eat you alive if you allow it. So you have to have separation.
Yeah.
You've got to leave work at work, and you started this job with friends that weren't officers.
Yep.
Don't leave this job with friends that are only officers.
That's powerful.
Don't
That's
lose your
powerful.
friendships.
Yeah.
I mean, that can apply to a lot of different things
Yeah.
across the board, whatever profession you decide to go into. But
Yeah.
it's just I'm so lucky to have amazing friends and a lot of officers that I'm friends with and acquaintances. My best friends are not officers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not who I want to surround myself with, not because they're bad guys, but I don't like talking about work all the time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I mean, it gives me a chance
good
to
way to
leave
balance.
work at work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel so blessed to have
Yeah.
such good people in my life that I can just, leave work at work and do other things.
That's good. That's good.
Over the 23 years, how much has it changed in the last 10 years when social media really?
Yeah, everything's changed because like you have shows like what he just mentioned, to where not only are you getting to see or hear the big things that the news wants you to hear, but you also get to see the side of things that we do. I'm not going to say every day I get a call to a guy ready to jump off of a bridge,
Right.
but you take a span of the last 10 years, and we've all talked many people. Maybe not off of a bridge, but off of that bridge
Yeah.
to make a better decision and to
Yeah.
realize what they have, what they're about to lose, the people that care for them. And so it's just the amount of compassion that officers have that you don't get to see because you may not be in that situation.
Yeah.
It gets lost in the shuffle with all
Yeah.
the other junk that people want
Yeah.
to see that's more exciting than that.
That's great. That's great. That actually leads us to the next text that I want to look at in Matthew chapter 5. Jesus is starting the Sermon on the Mount, which we've talked about a number of times, different parts of it. But on Monday nights, we've been going through the Beatitudes, that first part of the Sermon on the Mount. And one of those Beatitudes is found in chapter 5, verse 9. And it says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." And a lot of people don't realize this, but another word for a law enforcement officer is a peacemaker, a peacekeeper. And I think this text doesn't just apply to law enforcement officers, but it applies to anybody who is there to keep the peace. And I just want to say this, brother, you are blessed because of what you're doing. God has given you all kinds of blessings because of that, and I think there's going to be a lot more to come in your final few years as an officer. But I think that's a beautiful statement where it says that they shall be called the sons of God. To me, that's cool. That's pretty awesome.
That is really awesome.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
totally agree with you as far as we can all be peacemakers. You don't have to be deputized or be wearing a badge and have a gun and
Yep.
necessarily work for the city. No matter what your circle is,
Yeah,
I mean, we can all be peacemakers. And if I think that was more prevalent, then our society as a whole could
yeah,
improve.
yeah. And your job would be a little bit easier.
But, yeah, but mine didn't at all.
Man, well, that's good stuff, man. And I just want to say thank you for what you do. And all you other law enforcement officers, men and women out there that are putting yourself on the line every single day to make us safe and to keep us idiots in check. Because I know we need that from time to time. And yes, we are focusing on law enforcement, but we also want to say thank you to all of our first responders, whether that's fire, whether that's EMT, whatever you do, nurses, doctors, everybody. We thank you for what you do, because there's a bunch of people like us who aren't able to do those things and haven't been called into those things, because I think most of those fields you really need a calling to do it. And we thank you from the bottom of our heart, because we love you guys, and we couldn't make it without you. I can't tell you how many times I've needed somebody, whether law enforcement or military or medical or whatever, at a very early age. This is a very personal story for us, and I'm not going to get into it too much on here, but in 4th grade, we were headed to Whitewater theme park over here, the water park, and we got T-boned by an 18-wheeler out in front of Moore High School, and almost died. And the EMTs, I mean, it was amazing what they were able to do. And I mean, I was a little kid. Y'all wouldn't even know me if that happened. But you guys are appreciated. We've got a few things that we want to do for you guys here at Cigar Church Lounge. One of those, we're going to interject a little clip here, but just over your right shoulder, kind of behind Steve over there, we've got what we call our Got Your Six locker. And anytime that any of you who are law enforcement, first responder, military veteran, it doesn't matter, active duty, retired, whatever, anytime you're at Cigar Church Lounge, your cigar's on us. We don't sell the cigars here yet, but for our members, that if you have any friends that are in any of those categories, bring them here. You don't have to give up one of your cigars. We've got a locker full of cigars. There's probably 100, 120 cigars in there right now. Feel free to take one and smoke one while you're here. Shoot, even take one as you go. Don't take them all. Leave them for the other guys. But take one, smoke one, and if you'd like to take one to go home, that'd be fine too. We just want to honor you and show you respect. It's the least we could do. Wish we could do more than that. But that's one of the first things that we want to talk about.
We can do more.
We can do more. Are we going to do more?
I think
we're going to do more. Steve, what are we going to do, brother?
Well, starting with Mark, we decided. I know you're doing a membership for a $50 membership. Standard membership.
One of our entry memberships. Basic.
We're going to make it the Strickland.
Let's do it.
The Strickland plan or whatever we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Pick a locker, any locker you want. That's available, of course.
Some of those are locked behind you, but.
And that goes for any of you out there.
Yeah, we're going to do for anybody, law enforcement, first responder, veteran, active military, it doesn't matter. If you would like to join Cigar Church Lounge, we're going to give you a locker membership, which is a $100 value for the basic membership fee, which is $50. So we're giving you 50% off, and we're going to upgrade your membership to a locker membership today.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
Thank you for everything you've done for us, whether in law enforcement or just as a friend, brother. We want to honor you with that. And so, surprise.
Yeah.
I almost blew it a second ago that's why he gave me crazy eyes over there and before we came on. We want you to have a locker here with us, and any of your friends in on the police force or any of you out there who would like to join up, instead of paying the full locker fee, we want to give you a 50% discount, and so you get a locker for $50 a month. What else, gentlemen?
Well, if you enjoy our videos and you like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tickle the bell icon to be
Now,
notified.
can we say tickle the bell with a police officer?
Hey,
I was wondering if that was going to.
No, that's good. That's good. Before we get into all of our final stuff, absolutely, we want you to subscribe and tickle the bell. What do we think about these cigars now that we're about halfway through them?
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
Good, solid.
What other notes have come out?
It's
I still
fun.
get that light pepper still. I like.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like, and it's probably a matter of personal opinion, the difference between a black pepper and a white pepper. You hear people talk about white pepper, which is a more subtle, and I feel like that's what this has. Is it's that lighter spice that's underneath. It's there, but it's not beating you in the face.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that.
I
a
think
lot.
a distinguishing note that I get, and whether it's cigars or whether it be wine or something like that, is something that has kind of a bright type flavor to me. So you have darker flavors, like in a lot of scotches, it'll be a darker plum or darker fruit or something. But I get it's a bright peppery flavor to me, which I would associate on the white, like the white pepper, as opposed to the black pepper that's darker. And just, I think there's a difference. I think it's a great cigar for somebody that's used to mild cigars and is looking to maybe
step up a little bit.
Yep, they want to step it up into. We're not at a full-bodied cigar by any means, but it's definitely, I would say, it's more on the bold side of light cigars than it is, and you're almost to that medium point to where, it's a progression. It doesn't have to be a progression, but it's just expanding, things that are your palate to things that are out there that you didn't think you might like, but.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Steve, what are your final thoughts on the cigar?
Very enjoyable. I mean, I'm definitely going to get some from
Is it
it.
one we'll smoke again?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to have these. Yeah.
I mean, it's not, like you said, it's not full body. It's not quite there, but it's that good middle road. If you don't want to go too light, you don't want to go too strong.
Yeah.
It's just something right in the middle. Perfect.
Yeah, I was trying to hold my ash. You guys all knocked yours off a second ago, and it just fell right in my lap.
Yeah, I
so
don't
I
wanna be
made
that
a really
guy.
big mess. You didn't want to make that be that guy. But the second episode in a row, I don't know if you noticed last week, mine ashed right when we were right in the middle of the Bible study. So I'm that guy this season. I'm going to be the one who ashes instead of Dan. So very good, man. Hey, one last thing that I want to say before we do our final wrap up is if you have friends that are in law enforcement or first responders, be praying for them. They need your prayers. It is not an easy job. They are underappreciated, underpaid, overworked. Make sure you're praying for them. If you're friends with them, take care of them, honor them, show them respect. And if you ever get pulled over by this guy, have an extra cigar in your car just to pass him and brighten his day a little bit, because you'll probably get one back. But man, Mark, we appreciate you, man. It has been a blessing for you to be a friend of the channel, a personal friend of mine, and we just want you to be blessed in your service for this community.
Well, and I feel the same. I mean, the work that you guys are doing is incredible. You're changing lives in your own capacity, and it's great. Like,
Yeah,
there's
appreciate that.
nothing else but great to say about it. So,
Awesome, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we do.
As always, if you have prayer requests, send them to contactcigarchurch@gmail.com or stevecigarchurch@gmail.com.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Good episode, guys. Really enjoyed it. As always, smoke a fine cigar to the glory of God, and we will see you next week.